Hello, everybody. So excited today to be talking about Maul. It's so cool.
Hello.
Legendary, to say the least. And what's up, Rerun? I never understand what the name. Juan Conro and Demon Accords. I feel like I should know what that means, but I
I
don't.
don't. I don't get that reference.
I'm sorry. I'm too lazy to Google it. Maybe let me know. I said, man, Charlie
How'd that
himself.
happen? I'm
I
literally
know,
right
my
here.
favorite Sith of all time. Glad to be here. How's it going? It's going well, man. It's going well. Hello. I like how people are avoiding hello there's based off of what's happened before. What's up? Yo, yo. Hello, everybody. How is it going, everybody? This is going to be a lot of fun. We have Charlie in the house. We have Aiden. We have Deep Dive. And we had Blue, but Blue disappeared. He'll probably be back. But, man, I'm so excited to be talking about Maul. And here we go. They had to hit it once. Hello there. We can't ever avoid it.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Did get one.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Got one. But yeah, guys, I love to start with this question because it's so open-ended and I think it gives room for a lot of cool stuff. We have what's nice about Maul is we have the beginning of his life and the end of his life, and as time goes on, we're getting stuff filled in. And so there's a lot we can hit tonight. It's probably going to be a shorter one, but I love starting with the question, like, why Maul? Because this is one that you guys all were like, hey, I want to be a part of this. So anybody can jump in right at the top, and let's just say, why Maul? Like, what made you be like, man, I want to talk about him? Why do you like him? Go. The floor is yours.
Hey, you go ahead first, bud, if you want to.
I just got to say that right off the bat, if that countdown isn't hype, then I don't know what is. Only way I want to start off with 2 Star Wars in the extreme. But Darth Maul, I mean, I don't know. He's all right. I don't know. I kind of just like, I was hoping for Anakin Part 3, but I'm just kidding. No, Darth Maul's just so cool. He's such a badass. Like the way that he just like portrays himself in the Phantom Menace is just so cool. Like the dude doesn't blink. He looks badass. He has a double-bladed lightsaber, like a lightsaber with 2 blades on it. Like that just wasn't seen at the time. And this dude just goes at it like he's an animal in battle. And like especially after seeing him in the Clone Wars, Sam Witwer, just a god, absolutely nails in Darth Maul. Like to me, Sam Witwer is Darth Maul, and Ray Park is just this absolute incredible martial artist who brings Darth Maul's physical presence to life. Like without Ray Park and without Sam Witwer, there would be no Darth Maul.
Dude,
like
100%.
There just wouldn't. Like you can't have one without the other. But Darth Maul was always this cool, cunning Sith Lord who didn't really care that much to like sit back and like plot. He wanted to be in the thick of it. Like he wanted to be the one out there hunting Jedi, absolutely just wasting them. Jedi bodies everywhere. Like just the Sith, like all of the teachings of the Sith were like always in his mind, and like his fighting style, just everything. I don't know. He's just a cool guy.
Yeah, he's all right. He's no Anakin Part 3, but
yeah, it's no Anakin Part 3, but here I am.
Yeah, we had Anakin and we just settled. We took a little notch down for Maul. No, dude, absolutely. And there's so much stuff that we'll get into from what you said, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, Charlie, or Deep Dive. Why Maul?
Okay, why Maul? Well, speaking from people that can, grown up like, well, mostly like me, through the prequel timeline, before spoilers were a thing, nowadays, and we had maybe some teaser trailers, maybe like some spots on instant message or something like that. I don't know, old school. And You know, we got maybe a teaser trailer that was like 5 seconds at best. And this little movie came out in, you know, they were doing it in '99, but near the 2000 area, you know, just when stuff was picking up. So we were coming off of the amazing classical trilogy. So, you know, classic Kendo, hints of Iaido and everything with, you know, Luke and everything. Mark Hamill did train in that. However, try my best to do this. So, but when everybody's seeing this in the movie theater, light up.
Yeah.
There we go.
Everybody lost their minds, including myself. So when everybody sees, dun, 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 I'm not going to say it too long, outright, but that song kicks in. What? He has staff. What? So everybody loses their mind. You want to know more about him. Why is he red? Why does he have tattoos? Why does he have an earring? Why is this? Why can he jump over this and do that? What? His voice. How? I mean, I can go on. I mean, you go into the stuff of everything. Is he really evil? Or is he just misunderstood? No, let's like what was that? That was that quote that he said in that one video.
Evil is not taught. Evil is not.
Evil's not
born,
born.
it is
It is
taught.
taught. There you go.
Yeah.
And as soon as that, you know, you go like everything from childhood, picked up on Dathomir by Sidious, just wanting to please his master Plagueis and everything like that, or maybe do a little thing behind the curtains of Rule of Two just to use him. Gets picked up, has a rough childhood. And by rough, I mean, you know, strung up on a thing on Mustafar, fighting droids for his life as a child.
Mhm.
Then some really, really crazy childhood experiences. Gets tattooed up. I imagine that can't be too cool. I mean, it could look cool. But I imagine as a kid that doesn't feel too great. So you got that. Learn all 7 forms of saber combat. You get a really found hatred for the Jedi from your upbringing, saying, you know, Sidious going, hey, see that tower over there? Them. They did this to us to the point of, I'm going to take you to this little planet so you can inhale some stuff and, you know, mess you up. You may be okay, you may not be okay. AKA, you know, Malachor. And breathes in all that, gets all that past stuff. So all he sees is, no pun intended, red. So, and then you know, get more of that after he gets the spoiler alert from Kenobi. And he is a man who is literally too mad to die. In all the sense of the words. Then you learned about Clone Wars. Hey, guess what? Maul's not dead. What? How? And Sam Witwer does his legendary stuff after Ray Park, you know, takes his back seat for it for a little bit while watching. And you see the return of Maul. And to much fans, like, can it be done? Yeah, it did. And it made for an amazing character arc. And go into Rebels, Solo, you know, that little legendary thing at the ending, Crimson Dawn. He had a really unique life. Long and short of it, I could go 1,000 million miles, so I'm not going to take up too much.
No, dude.
That was my experience.
It is such a wild life. Like when you look at Maul, it's unreal, and there's a lot of really cool things. Like especially when you look at a lot of the people he interacts with, he just stands out from the pack. Like his ideology, what he stood for, the way he got treated. He definitely was isolated in most of that. What's up, Leia Rose? How's it going? Good to see you here. So deep dive. Same thing, my man. Let's start off. Why Maul?
There's a lot of, you know, complicated story that was built on top of it, but honestly, my favorite thing about Maul is just his insanely cool character design, just from like an artistic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's kind of like Boba Fett in that way. Like they just got such a perfect character design that they had to create a character around the design after the fact, and that's just awesome to me.
Yeah, I just remember as a kid, because I was 7 when I saw Phantom Menace in theaters, and I just remember seeing Maul, and yeah, seeing his double-sided lightsaber, all this. It was like the craziest thing I had ever seen. Like Star Wars is already really wild, but it's pretty amazing that in the world of Star Wars, someone can stand out that much. You'd be like, whoa, that's that's pretty crazy. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Sheev? How's it going, man? Good to have you here, dude.
Sidious.
Maul's master.
I know. Yeah, we have some questions for you, Sheev. Yeah, that's so true. We have some questions about why you treated Maul so poorly.
No, he only did it because he knew Maul would have the drip. It was all for the drip.
But yeah, he was so cool. They had to keep his story going after he got cut in half. That's fairly accurate. That's so true. Well, I have a whole bunch of notes that we can go over for this, and this is for Maul. There's kind of two ways we can go with this, but as always, this is kind of our little motto around here. Head canon is the best canon. And what we mean by that is we're going to talk EU canon, if you want to call it legends. We're gonna talk everything and everything in between. There are some things that are different in EU and canon for Maul, and we may not cover what you like, but you know what? We're gonna cover what we like, and that's, I don't know if that's most important, but that's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But let's just start. I have a loose outline of his life, and we'll just kind of like walk through it and get some cool conversations with it. So obviously, looking at the beginning of his life, for those who haven't seen Clone Wars, there's this whole arc with the Night Sisters and the Dathomirians, all this stuff, and you get into Mother Talzin and his mom. All of this, for me, I remember watching that Clone Wars. I just thought that was the craziest thing. Like that was just like deep, I don't know, like deep sci-fi, deep fantasy, deep lore of Star Wars. I was like, wow, this is like pretty wild. I thought Maul was just like a cool looking guy, and there's this huge intricate backstory to him. But in canon we have where the whole thing with Mother Talzin was going to be Palpatine's apprentice, but instead Maul becomes the apprentice, and he takes Maul. But then in the EU, if I'm remembering right, and if my studies proved right, the EU, Mother Talzin actually gives Maul over to Palpatine. So differences there right in the beginning from canon and EU. But I want to see, what do you guys think, even as we get started with the beginning of his life, Palpatine finding him, with the taking or the giving from Mother Talzin, all of this stuff, her being the original candidate, Maul's unchecked or maybe untapped unlimited power, no pun intended. All of that, let's just start from the beginning. What excites you? What do you like maybe more, EU, canon?
I'll pull a Gary Oldman quote from that one movie. Everything. No, I can't do that. No, I like it both. I mean, I like the Plagueis background. I read it first, listened to it first. That's kind of a thing for me. I like either one regardless. But I remember the marketplace, Sidious just looking for something. Dathomir comes up to him, still has his Sith mask up, everything like that, so he can blend in, but just powerful enough to know that she's not no ordinary woman or beggar. And Night Sister offering to give up the, kid, or this little Zabrak little infant, and everything to do it must with him to spare the other brother, who would later come back in the canon. Good old Clancy Brown. But yeah, I like that a lot. I do like the new stuff too as well. I love that. Still love that little twist of Mother Talzin being a little resent, like, oh, take the son, won't take me. There's no repercussions of that at all. Nothing. What could go wrong with that?
Yeah.
So, long story short, I like it all.
Nice. I think you're muted.
That was the best of it. That was the best of it.
I saw your. I'm like, how long do I let him go before?
Just let him talk for like as long as he wants. Just don't say anything.
It looked
Well,
passionate.
Well, not anymore. All right, but let me break it down for you. So I came prepared as well.
What is this? Oh, it's a whiteboard. Here we go. You should have like spit that out of your mouth, man.
What do
I
you
don't
like?
want to lose it. But so essentially, I'm going based off something that I would have loved to see, by the way, which I know it's not canon or technically Legends, but a lot of the ideas were incorporated into canon and Legends. There was a Darth Maul video game that was going to be made, and the whole point of this video game was to show this is going to be Darth Maul. It's Darth Maul. The whole point was to show his growth. But no, in all seriousness, the whole point of the game was to show.
You can't say in all seriousness holding a whiteboard. Okay.
It's just to like express. It's just to visually convey my whatever. But the
like
whole
it.
point was to get Maul from little Darth Maul to essentially have Palpatine that looks more like a baby.
Well,
That's
kind of a
Palpatine.
man-child with a
Yeah.
temper tantrum. You're good.
There, I gave him one leg, so that that's Palpatine.
Very nice.
But it was to show Palpatine actually, like they were gonna undergo like the Sith training, where Maul would like fight with like he would learn how to fight, and you would see him learn like the 7th lightsaber style. And the whole point of the game was to show essentially Maul's growth from this young adolescent boy right up to this dark and brooding Sith Lord man that we see right before the Phantom Menace. It was to show what the Sith training was really going to be like. And I think those concepts were so interesting because that is technically something we have never seen in depth. Like I get that we have you have the Plagueis novel, which kind of shows like Plagueis, who it's supposed to be his like breathing apparatus thingy, and he has a longer head because he's immune. It's not Kiadi, but you have like Plagueis, who essentially kind of breaks the rule of two in a way by letting Palpatine take on this boy who then plans. Well, no, who Palpatine literally then overthrows his master because he has Maul. But I thought the idea was so interesting to have this guy be trained by this guy, and eventually have this guy overthrow this guy, which the idea of Plagueis just allowing Palpatine to train the Sith assassin, which, by the way, he should have been fully aware that, come on, of course he was planning to overthrow him. Like, that's just the way of the Sith. Exactly. Like, this dude, like, he may have been wise beyond his years. This dude had no common sense sometimes, and it really showed. But getting back to, I'll get rid of this.
Enjoyed it.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm ruining your stream.
No,
I appreciate it.
First,
Good job, sir.
People digging the white.
Spoilers. It was good.
I feel like I'm tapping more to like Plagueis and like Palpatine, but like it all ties into Darth Maul with the fact that you have this man who is he's a Sith Lord, and he wants to continue the rule of two, but he also says that he wants to create a new order. He like wants to follow the principles of the rule of two, but do his own thing, sort of, and that's why he allows Palpatine to take on Maul. And I think that's so important to Maul's development, because Maul sort of sees the conniving ways of the Sith from a very early age. He gets to see another perspective other than that of Palpatine. Like he gets to see what Plagueis had in mind and stuff. Like instead of it just being Palpatine, instead of there being two Sith, there was three. And although Maul was technically being trained as an assassin, not a real Sith Lord, I mean, come on. Dude's just too badass not to give full Sith Lord training. I mean, look at him. How can you not want to make this dude a Sith Lord?
Look at him.
Yeah, really look at him. Really,
Oh God! Now that it came
Beautiful.
to you.
really get a good idea of what Obi-Wan was dealing with.
That's actually pretty interesting. I like what you said about like Darth Maul's trained by Palpatine as an assassin, but everyone knows he's not really an assassin.
Exactly.
That's like exactly how Sidious responds to Ventress later in the Clone Wars show, though, because he knows what's going on because he did the same thing.
He pulled the same move. Like he's just like it's just coming. It all comes full circle. It always comes full circle for the Sith. Like Palpatine, technically was going to break. Well, he obviously didn't do it, but like he was going to break the rule of two with Dooku and allow Anakin to be included in their Sith Empire, which was a complete lie. He just told that to Dooku so Dooku wouldn't freak out that he was technically going to be replaced. But like there was always seeds of like breaking the rule of two, and it all started with Darth Maul. Darth Maul was the one that was allowed to be trained technically as a Sith, even though Plagueis and Palpatine were already the two Sith Lords in the galaxy. And I think that was so crucial to Maul's development because, like I said, he gets two perspectives, essentially. Like, he gets the brutal Sith training from Palpatine, but he also gets to see where Palpatine's influence comes from as well in the form of Darth Plagueis. Like, he was around during a time where the Sith were essentially, like, he was around at the time where the Sith were essentially about to make their huge comeback. Yeah. And he got to see all of the plan, like the grand plan of the Sith, or like the development of the grand plan of the Sith that would define the prequel trilogy. Like, he knew that the Clone Wars was going to start. He knew that they were already plotting war before the Phantom Menace because Palpatine, of course, and Plagueis were just master manipulators. They went to the camp. The whole thing with Sifo Dyas and stuff. Maul was around for that. No. He was, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
That you I didn't mean to butt in on anything, but you brought up something
dude.
that people don't think about. Maul's training got a tap on the back from Plagueis, Darth Plagueis the Wise, Higo Damask, a very powerful Sith in his own right. The fact that he watched in a hologram and even was shocked by his moves with, a saber staff. No one since Exar Kun has done something like that. For those who are familiar with that, go look that guy up. He's awesome. And also for the fact that he greenlit it and was like, okay, keeping it as a backup, just in case, and everything like that. And also, he made him master Terrace Kasi. Yeah, that was it. Which the form of the martial art, which is again he pulls from besides all the 7 forms, and that he just, you see it on the screens and animation and motion capture. So you're 100% right that Plagueis' little nod just completely underrated. So tip of the hat to you, good sir. If I was
I appreciate it.
And in the same way, what I find so interesting is that in Plagueis' mind, Maul was just expendable.
Exactly.
It's like he can do the dirty work. He can be the boots on the ground, the assassin. And it's like at any point, if he starts to kind of like rise up, we can just, again, no pun intended.
Just kill him.
We can just cut him down, and take care of him. But then it just starts, there's this massive web where you just start to see it's like, well, really, he's been a pawn this whole time.
Exactly.
Because it's Plagueis wanted to use him for the assassin purposes to just kind of extend fear and to take care of what he wanted, where Palpatine wanted to use him to really put himself into a position of power. And then I think that's why later on in his life, why he's like, I'm going to take the control. I'm going to create a crime syndicate. I'm going to run the crime underworld. I'm going to become Mandalore. Like, you see all this stuff where it's like, I've been this. And then is just single-minded. Well, maybe it's dual-minded. There you go. But maybe it's dual-minded where it's like Sidious and Kenobi, he's like, I will get revenge, and
he does
tunnel vision.
What's up, casual?
All right. Yeah.
But, go ahead, Charlie.
All right. No, that's another thing about him. He's not just ridiculously skilled and talented. He's also, he was raised by Sidious, and he's seen, designs of the grand plan. He knew about it. Season 7 spoiler is a time already. So he had the knowledge and everything besides his lust for revenge and everything, how to build stuff and how to, get stuff going, whether it be Crimson Dawn, whether it be, ruling Mandalore for a time, even past, Clone Wars to an extent. Besides being a relentless warrior, he's very smart, knows what he's doing. It may take him a little bit of time, but he gets there. But sometimes his pride gets in the way. But anyway. Sorry.
I feel like this is such a true comment as well. Palp's underestimated Maul. Absolutely. 100%.
I feel like what Charlie said, I completely agree with, man. I think that, even I agree with the fact that, Palps probably did underestimate Maul in a way, because even Palpatine in the Clone Wars went to eliminate him. He's like, oh crap, this dude actually might be a real threat to my plans. I did not expect this dude to rise up like this. Like, what? I gotta go just take care of him. But what always surprised me is that why didn't Palpatine kill him? Because I don't get what further use he had for him. He just kind of locked him up.
I heard that they had other plans for future seasons that got canceled and put in comic books instead.
I remember seeing the comic books.
Me.
Son of Dathomir, he actually broke out of Sidious's torture, beat General Grievous and Dooku. He may not have beat Sidious, but he was able to contend with him even just for a minute.
Oh yeah.
I love that little series. Audiobook, regular book, look at it, the art on it, just fascinating. And that's where the big reveal of Mother Taliesin and what he was going to do with Dooku, which good old Night Sister magic and Dathomir magic. Luckily Sidious got there, otherwise Dooku may not have had that he had planned.
Do you guys think that Maul was more powerful than Dooku, or could have easily killed Dooku?
I think Maul was skilled as Dooku was more
cunning,
powerful with a blade. Maul could be. He's. It's much like the Anakin thing. You can have a hammer or a sledgehammer, or you can have a surgical needle or knife or something like that. Dooku is ridiculously underrated and of master lightsaberist and powerful. Maul is ridiculous. He doesn't take his power outward, he draws it inwards, and he uses it that way. He uses his environment around him to adapt. That's just why he's comes up with different scenarios and stuff like that and ways to escape and come back stronger and stronger and stronger. But that's just my 2 cents. Deep dive?
I think one thing that's, I guess it's kind of tangential to this, but because we're talking about Dooku anyway, it's one thing to think about too is Sidious must have invested so much time and effort in training Maul, and the way you can tell that is because once he loses Maul, the only way to replace him is he has to convince a Jedi Master to just change to his side, because there's not enough time left to train someone else to be that good.
That's a really good point, dude. Yeah, no, that's really good. I'm gonna share my answer. I just wanted to say this:
Yeah.
you're gonna stick around, or you wanted to stick around, but you're going to Disney tomorrow at 4 a.m. Stinks to wake up that early, but you're going to Disney, so enjoy that. That's super cool. And what's up? Internally suffering. Hello. Your name is just comical.
Sanakin.
Yeah, seriously, fine point deep dive. Yeah, I think for me, when we're talking about Aiden's question there with Dooku versus Maul, I think it would be really well matched, and I don't know, I feel like either one could win, but I feel like there's something in Maul where if he set his sights on taking Dooku out, I think it would just be a matter of time. Maybe only because I feel like in his mind, like even how he survives after the Phantom Menace, it's just his rage, this intense anger, that kept him alive. And the same thing where he couldn't beat Kenobi, but it's like that single thing is what he was focused on. And I feel like if that was fixated on Dooku, I feel like he would have, especially if it was like, you replaced me. And yeah, that's kind of where I land with it. But I think if it comes down to Dooku's side, I feel like Dooku is more, he definitely, like that meme, the signature look of superiority. He's definitely like, you're below me. Like, you're not a threat to me. Like, he viewed 2 Jedi and Yoda, technically 3 Jedi in a hangar. He's like, you're nothing to me. And it is time.
I think
another one.
Totally insane.
General Kenobi.
Hello.
That is something I have not seen a long time. Long time. Wrong screen for this, but I had to. That's classic. Good job, sir.
Sorry to cut you off, Aiden.
No, that was worth it. I think the thing with Dooku and Maul is that both of them are skilled in sort of more different areas. Maul was more of an aggressive animal. He preferred to just be up in your face, more like a brutal warrior, like in your face, aggressive, just won't stop attacking until you're dead. Whereas Dooku was more like, no, I'm going to use the Force to my advantage and my lightsaber skills because you're nothing but a mere mortal, and I'm a Jedi Knight, the most elegant Sith Lord in the galaxy. So, like, you better watch yourself. But Maul didn't really like to use the Force as much as someone like Dooku or Palpatine would. Maul was more into the fact that he'd rather be, like I said, up in your face, just attacking you, whereas Dooku would probably shoot Force lightning at Maul or try to do something else before engaging in lightsaber combat. I mean, that's what he did with Yoda. And he was just like, yeah, no, this obviously won't go anywhere with using the Force. So, like, just whip out your lightsaber, bro. And so...
Dune Maul. The mind thing. Yep, just like you said.
Yeah.
We get inside, your head. I mean, that quote from Clone Wars. Your master, Qui-Gon Jinn, I gutted him while you stood there helpless. How did that make you feel, Kenobi? Sets even Kenobi off balance, a general of the Clone Wars, just for a second. But he quickly adjusts, but even just that little second.
I feel like Dooku would taunt Maul as much as Maul would taunt Dooku. I feel like both of them wouldn't really go anywhere with taunting.
They would just be annoying each other.
Yeah. Maul would just be like, yo, he's just going to overthrow you too. You're nothing to him. He's just going to kill you eventually. Like, he's just going to discard of you like he did me. And then Dooku would probably just be like, yo, you're nothing but an animal. No wonder he got rid of you and replaced you with someone like me. I was obviously the better fit. Like, just it wouldn't go anywhere.
Like they may hug at the end and cry. We were both used.
Both tools for the same construct, and just hug it out. Yep.
I think Dooku versus Maul could go one of two ways. It would either be Anakin and Dooku episode 3 or Anakin Dooku episode 2. It depends on how focused Maul is.
Yeah,
think
depending on which Maul version it was. If it was Phantom Menace Maul, then I don't think Maul would come out on top on that one. I think further down the timeline of Clone Wars near the Ahsoka fight where he learned everything and experienced everything through trial and error and combat and losing his brother Savage, the one person who he actually did care about, and which kind of had some fuel in it as well. I think that driving rage and that thing talking about from the beginning, that if he gets mad enough, it's just like the Incredible Hulk syndrome. The madder you got, the more stronger you become, unless you're like Thanos, aka Sidious. One of those things.
Obviously, Maul has got Grievous. Grievous doesn't win that one, but for me, I've always been. I think Dooku would come out on top with Force powers, like if they were doing a battle of the Force. But I think if it were a lightsaber battle, I think Maul could possibly come out with the advantage, just because of how brutal he is. Because Maul's going to use his whole body. Like he's going to kick you in the face. He's going to be punching you. He's going to be using everything. Whereas Dooku just uses lightsaber and elegantly evaded lightsaber strikes. So I feel like one hit to the face or a strike from Maul's hilt and Dooku would just be done, because Maul is just too fast. And Maul's a lot younger too than Dooku. I feel like even Dooku was bested by Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, who wasn't even using all of his dark side powers. He just kind of tapped into the dark side, and look what happened. But that's how I look at it.
Well, I think this brings... it almost brings us to another interesting point in Maul's life. If you're thinking about everything with Aiden's beautiful whiteboard illustration, and are you going to show it again? Were you reaching for it? I saw you thinking about it. This beauty, if you can see, for those of you who joined late, you can decipher.
I broke down his whole life for you.
His whole life.
It's very abstract.
Right there on a whiteboard. But thinking about even Palpatine and taking on Dooku and all of this, you have something interesting in both Maul's life and Dooku's life. Dooku takes an apprentice under the same guise, like we talked about. He takes Asajj under the assassin guise. But then you have Maul and his brother. You have Maul and a press. So you have Maul and Savage, and you have the whole Sidious and Tyrannus, and then even history repeating itself with Asajj Ventress again. And so that's one. I mean, especially it gets there's so much going on there in Clone Wars. But why don't we talk for a bit, even more open-ended, just about kind of Maul and his brother, maybe even compare and contrast with Dooku and Asajj, or just the whole restoration. And then you even get into the whole messed up thing about, you find out his mom, Mother Talzin, has known about him, known where he is, watching him from a distance, and sends his brother. And so it's you get into again, he just ends up being a pawn again. He's just this agent that's being used, and people are just, there's something about his strength and his mindset where it's we can use this, as opposed to having him lead or something. It's we just want to keep him, I don't know, as a submissive to our wills. It's fairly interesting to me.
Serve their own ambition.
I don't know. The thing that the thing I always wondered about Mother Talzin, if she knew about him all along, why didn't she go and get him earlier?
She didn't need him yet.
I think Sidious would have taken her down.
I guess that's true.
During the grand plan of that and what he was trying to do, I think she was laying low for the longest period. I mean, in the book, Son of Dathomir, she held on as long as she could. But I think that would play out a little too early if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's also interesting to think that both Maul and Ventress came from the same place. They both came from the Night Sisters in Dathomir. Like, I don't normally see a lot of people like bring that up, with the fact
Yeah.
that Maul and Ventress had a very similar upbringing, in the fact, yeah, completely different. The fact that they both came from the same place, but one of them went on to become a Jedi, and the other went on to be trained by the most ruthless Sith Lord in the galaxy. Like, it's an interesting sort of like neat little parallel, but eventually both end up embracing the dark. Yet Maul stays in the dark, whereas Ventress eventually finds that, I'm not a fan of the Sith anymore. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. I still haven't read Dark Disciples, so like I can't really say like what I can't really say I know what happens in that book. I just know it involves Quinlan Voss and Count Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
But I know her story leads into that, whereas Maul just stays this rage-filled machine that's just like Kenobi, only Kenobi. If I can make his life as shitty as mine, I will be happy.
Mm-hmm. And
But yeah.
I feel like with, and not that I probably would never have, I mean, maybe, I don't want to say never, not that I would have like a Mother Talzin life and lore, but I feel like she is a background character where, much like Sidious, wanting to use people for his purposes of complete rule and reign of the Empire. I think in the same way, I wonder how much, and this isn't something I necessarily have an answer to, but I wonder how much Mother Talzin wants to use Asajj and I almost said Asajj and Dooku, Asajj and Maul, for her active vengeance, for her power, for her establishment. And so it's not that there's necessarily that control aspect too much. There's a whole ton of stuff there in the Clone Wars, but it is pretty interesting to bring up that very point, that you see both of them come from the same place, go down parallel storylines, I suppose, and to the point where they just keep interacting with each other too. It's pretty wild.
I know.
In a fight, even where
Mhm.
he first comes back and they cross paths, where Kenobi was smoked. He was dead. If
Yeah.
Ventress didn't come in there, and being from the same place and everything, and of course, very weird, by the way, but cool but weird seeing Kenobi with a red lightsaber. Red is not
I
my
always
color.
thought that was interesting.
And even Yoda said, Kenobi might have another ally in the Force. Didn't say which. Little green guy. But yeah, it's that's a pretty cool parallel of those, all them being in the same room except for Sidious, Tyrannus, Count Dooku, Savage. Yeah, right. His I don't think he was actually the little brother, even though he's gargantuan. But Maul's still much superior, as proved time and again. The great thing when I was watching at least a little bit of the featurettes, and again, for those that don't watch it, please watch them. On Clone Wars, Dave Filoni talks about it. Sam Witwer talks about it. George Lucas is even on a few. The certain arc where Savage gets, bolstered up to become Ventress's apprentice, he uses a different hand when he grabs, and she's like trying to get him to do that, and Talzin's just like, you have to calmly say it, everything like that. Eventually does it, wreaks havoc and everything, to the point where he stalemates Ventress, Dooku, and wants to go do his own thing. By then, General Grievous comes down and mows over Dathomir. Comes back, Talzin comes up. Hey, there's something you should know. You have a brother. And he survived. And that whole thing gets balled up. Maul uses a different hand and does the whole brother thing when he gets his mind put back together, which that's another thing. When his mind gets put back together, even from thinking from all that time, bringing up the Sith code even before his mind was put back together. It's just very astounding to think about all that time that he was down there with spider legs and survived purely off of that one wound. Phantom Apprentice, sort of, Phantom Menace. It's just really cool. And plus, when you get them two going together, one at first is just like, let's, no, Savage, that's not how you do it, and everything. That leads into some pretty dark arcs. But ultimately, he's like, there must be one singular vision, mine. And that leads into, him finding Kenobi, which was his whole thing. And then kind of making his brother his apprentice somewhat. Showing him some things, even though he has, claw-like legs. A little upgrade from spider legs, but pretty good. He's rocking some chrome. So, see, you get to those moments, slowly but surely, when you get to the Mandalore, and when they get rescued by good old Jon Favreau, who doesn't get enough recognition for playing, Pre Vizsla and everything. Even in that arc when they're getting put back together, you get this little moment of calm down, brother. We can use this. We can roll with this, and that leads into them slowly but surely always working together. But it's not until the moment when Sidious does that, you can actually see the look on brother. Everything breaks. His Sith training breaks. Everything breaks. He beelines straight to his brother. He doesn't go for Sidious. He just jumps. Then Night Sister magic, Dathomir magic starts going away. Holds his hand. Or the apprentice. Everything like that. And just for that split little second, it really makes you go, is he really truly evil? No, Sidious is truly evil. Maul is not no saint, but I love those little comparisons. I know it's a little elongated thing, but I always love their little dynamic and how that turned out for him.
Dude,
me
too. But you see what time it is.
I gotta hop off. Unfortunately, thanks so much for having me on, man. I had a great time. Hope you enjoyed the illustrations.
It was phenomenal.
Appreciate it, Charlie. Love you, man. I had a great time talking about Darth Maul. Definitely one of my favorite Sith Lords. Still, my number one's Vader. My number one will always be Vader, but Darth Maul has a special place in here. Like, I've always loved that dude. Like, I always thought he was one of the coolest people in the Phantom Menace. Like, Clone Wars, he became instantly, like, in my top favorites of just, like, episodes. And, like he literally instantly... Because those episodes came out when I was... I remember watching those when they first came out, and I was, like, so, like, this is awesome. Like, I can't believe they brought him back. Like, I thought he was dead in the Phantom Menace, because I remember the time where we all thought he was just dead in the Phantom Menace. Like, that was it. That was it for Darth Maul. And then he's just back all of a sudden in the Clone Wars. Like, the freaking Clone Wars. Like, I always loved that. Crazy. Like, I've always wished, though, that Darth Maul had some sort of interaction with Anakin at some point. I've always would have loved to see the apprentice meet the chosen one. And I say apprentice because Darth Maul was once apprentice to Sidious, But I've always would have loved that reaction. Like, I feel like Darth Maul would have had such a great fight. I would have loved to see that. But Darth Maul is such a great character. Thanks so much for having me on. And I hope you all have a great night.
Yeah, you too, man. And I will send you off with this. Hello there.
General Kenobi! General Kenobi! General Kenobi! General Kenobi!
Felt like I was in the Matrix just now. Like back room.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's not
that
making
guy
it out of that
has
one.
Neo in the background say 7 different things. I felt like I was in that moment.
I always feel so bad for people who have headphones on.
Brilliant.
I literally literally just roll mine down. I'm like, turn this down. I know what's
But,
coming. All
I'll
right,
catch
see you
you guys
later,
later.
dude.
Take it easy, bud.
See ya. Worth it. Yes. I got to do it later in the stream, so I know people are already committed to staying.
Yeah.
If I do it too early, people are like,
Don't
It's not
scare them
test.
off.
they're
Good
like,
beta
no, thank you. Well, for a little bit more of Maul's life, Charlie, this would be really a really cool time actually to talk about this. I think Aiden actually brought it up really well with Sam Witwer, really being Maul, like bringing the character of Maul to life. But then you have Ray Park and the Phantom Menace, who, I mean, phenomenal job. I just learned today. I didn't know this. He studied gymnastics and ballet in preparation for the Phantom Menace, in addition to everything else he already knew. Pretty fantastic. But you have some cool stuff that you sent me. I think is really fascinating. Maybe an aside from some of the lore. But this is really really cool stuff. So why don't you talk about this? You can
Sure.
tell me which ones to click on, all that. I'll do that for
Okay.
you.
So back in hell year 2020 for everybody, let's face it. So a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away that was here. We want to tell the context of this. Many years ago, I met and trained with Nick Gillard. For those who don't know, Nick Gillard is the brilliant mastermind that came up with the prequel fights. I got to meet him years ago while I was going over to Japan, and I fanboyed out. I got to train the basic stuff with him, how to do the behind the back stuff and everything else, how he moved with legs. And by coincidence or happenstance or no such thing as luck, that amazing man was there. He was getting ready for the little G.I. Joe movie that was coming out. And I got a chance to meet him through a teacher of mine that was like, hey, we know this guy's going to be here. We know you're a fan of Star Wars. I got a chance to meet Ray Park. Went over how he did the butterfly kicks and twists and all that sort of stuff. Wushu, his inspiration for why he did what he did. So took me aside, trained me a little bit. So that's another contribute factor of why I know a lot of stuff about lightsaber work, is that brilliant man in that picture. So fast forward years later, he still kept in touch with me, which I thought, like out of 1,000 fans, look, this guy, to give more context to this man would go to celebrations upon celebrations, wait. He would not, until the last fan was standing, he would wait. He would even go in between breaks and everybody would have just to sit down and everything. And finally go up to, hey, mate, hug, selfie, wrong, man, check on him. So this happened over 2020. I was doing a lesson with him. We just kept in touch and everything. I asked, how's the family doing and everything like that and everything. Got him to get a friend of mine, a good friend of ours, Catherine Lassell, a shout out because her favorite character is Maul. I was like, hey, you think you can do this and everything? Like, yeah, mate. Sends me over a video while we're doing this. And so during my birthday, he found out back in June, he sent me a whole box of these. I'll pull the regular thing up in a minute, but yeah, this one right here. Yeah, and he just sent me a barrage of some of his old stuff, and I really have to get it out. He sent me a box of Maul signed stuff, Snake Eyes signed stuff, and he even gave me, this is not it, but it's actually on a frame on the wall. I really need to go get it. One of the original hilts that he broke when him and Ewan did the slice and everything that they used for Phantom Menace. So I actually had one of the original props. And he had it. He was giving away in like a little contest. He gave one out and he gave another one away and a few other things away. And he gave me that. So that right there was just him. He sent it in for free. Didn't tell me about it. I just got a package from UK. Amazing. So the next one, thank you, man. And yeah, the next one on there, again, he put pretty cool lettering on there and everything. Wished me a great happy birthday. And it brings a smile to my face and everything like that, because great man who has way a lot of stuff to do and just took time to go over Instagram and just video and me and him train Zoom, because no one was capable of doing anything. In 2020, it was a hell year. But yeah, he sent me a lot of things for my birthday, and I will forever be grateful and always be. It's an honor to call him a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sidious. Yeah, and yeah, it's just it's a cool feeling. You always, Sith law and everything, Sith rule. He would always put that there, and the little kanji at the bottom would always be. He stuttered under wushu. He wanted to be like Luke Skywalker when he was inspired by Empire back in the day. So he would always talk about that and why he studied wushu, Chinese way of doing things. And so he would always put little kanjis at the very end of those and put his name under there, Bray Park, Darth Maul. And especially during Solo, whenever that happened and everything like that. So just countless things of just massive, massive support for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah, seriously, you have an actual phantom that is
I have it.
Roll. Yeah, dude, that's so awesome. And even this one here, man, this is awesome.
This one holds very sentimental value to me because this is when I was rocking my Fuck Cancer shirt. We were doing the campaign thing for that at GalaxyCon. One of my best friends passed away from cancer, and Sam Witwer, being the amazing person that he is, that guy was. I was initially scheduled for 5 minutes with him. He spent 11 with me. He extended my time for that, because not just for that. I mean, videos on there, but this one was like a separate thing. Where he went, I talked about, hey, I was laid up in a hospital and everything like that, and I got a chance to watch how you became immortal and everything like that, never ages or anything like that, man. Appreciate all you do and everything. So he's like, yeah, it taught me, man. And I was like, what, Maul, how difficult was that doing? What was the pressure like? And so he spent time talking about Star Wars, talking about Being Human, vastly underrated show, talking about the Mortis art, what it was like working with George Lucas, Dave Filoni continuing Star Wars even to this day, and just this nice little picture he wanted to take with me. Just, it's home. And so for more about this, and I get a chance to talk to him on Cameo a lot. And everything. So when I sent him a cameo again to blow my good friend Catherine Lascelles' brain, he was like, dude, I remember you, and everything like that. And so we kept in touch. And so the Fuck Cancer campaign and everything, and just really kind man, really kind dude.
Yeah.
And say enough good things about them at all.
And yeah, dude, the missus and I, saying, well, she said right here, sorry to hear that. And, that's me as well. My stepmom passed away from cancer. I have a good relationship with my biological mom, but through divorce, like my stepmom, right after we got married, found out she had cancer, and she passed away after she had like stage 4 when she found out. And so, it's cool. I mean, even on the Darth Maul stuff, to have someone as busy as Sam Witwer, to like take time out of his celebrity acting, voice acting time, like, dude, that's fantastic, and that's, I mean, an aside, obviously Maul's an awesome character, but it's, for me, I'm like, it makes me like the character more when I hear your story and, stuff like that, just because it's like, dude, that's unreal. 2 amazing guys that played him.
It was amazing as well, because that was actually a Smallville panel. And I was, talking to him about Smallville and like, what's it like working with Tom Welling, another good friend who's like 10 feet tall and everything. And he's like, I don't know why I get paired up with very tall people and everything. And that's how the Star Wars thing got followed up as well. But yeah, he's amazing person. If you can't catch his Twitch streams. I highly recommend it. They're funny, awesome guys. He loves to interact with people. Amazing
That's super
person.
cool, man.
But thank you, good sir.
Yeah, and thank you for sending that stuff. I just love this one right here. Hey Charlie, happy birthday, my martial arts brother. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's rad, man.
He put that, and I'll hang on a little second. Might take too long. The actual thing size. I will get the actual thing, but so it's that size. It has there we go. Thank you. Let me see if I can angle this right. So you got Darth Maul. Can't really see that one, but that was from Phantom Menace way back in the day when they first started doing the promos for it. Right there. That was one of the first Darth Maul images. I think Terry Brooks did this image, so he got to keep it, signed that one. And this one over here was when they decided, move over here so we get more light for it, whenever Solo came out, right there. Very limited of these came out. That's one of them he signed. And then the middle one was when they were starting to do the comic book art of Dark Horse. He signed that, put a little special message on there. And then for those who don't know, yes, he is Snake Eyes. He does a lot of his own stunts. He signed that one for me. And the other Solo image right down there. But yeah, it holds a very special place in my heart. Thanks, guys. But
yeah, dude, that's sweet.
I will definitely get that. It's just over at the house right now, and it's very cold outside. But yes, I do have the original Phantom Menace blade, and it's just really surreal. Everything is that one of the single pieces again. Going back to everybody's reaction. Okay, dun, 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 dun. What, he has two? So very surreal.
Yeah, dude, and that's great too. And it's so much more than just like getting to chat with someone for a little bit or meeting them at a con. Just the friendship that's developed there and remembering you out of the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people that he's met. That's super cool. Well, this one was going to be a shorter one, so we'll have one more talking point on this. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, and maybe if it's demanded, we can come back with a part 2. We're gonna skip over pretty much all the Mandalore stuff, all the Death Watch, and all the Satine and Shadow Collective. Tons and tons of stuff, and Crimson Dawn. But what I think, at least for this one, with it being shorter, I feel like we'd be amiss if we don't look at the end of his life. Because even in all that we're skipping over, he kills Satine, all of this. But at the end of his life, him and Kenobi, all of this. Let's talk about that for a few minutes. We'll probably go like less than 15 more, but we'll do that. And I think this will be cool.
You're a good man. I'll save mine for the latter part of it, but deep dive, I feel like I've been talking forever. Bud, you go ahead.
Well, this is actually my most the thing of Maul that I'm most interested in, because for the Clone Wars show, I actually didn't watch Clone Wars until like last year and Rebels. So it was interesting to see all the Maul stuff in there, because a lot of it actually comes from a 2005 comic book that I already knew that has a different variation of the Twin Sons. And so it was really interesting to see like that adapted into the new story. That was really cool.
So glad someone else knows about that.
And what about it is the part that most interests you, or whatever? Yeah, I would love to hear you elaborate on that a little more.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing of it was when Maul came to Clone Wars with his robot legs and he's still alive. I remember everyone was so hyped and excited, and I was like, I've known this since 2005. This isn't news to me. But yeah, it's also interesting though, because in the newer version, he's killed by Obi-Wan. but actually in the original comic version, actually Obi-Wan
Owen.
isn't able to kill him, and so Owen Lars does it.
Yep.
So crazy, man.
Yeah.
And what maybe this is interesting. What do you prefer? Because I mean, I would say the way they did it in animation is very poetic. It was very well thought out. But what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer,
Oh,
I guess, the
man.
EU 2005, or do you prefer canon?
My heart. Oh, God. God, that's a tough one. Because, I mean, much like Deep Dive, I still have it. It's somewhere around here. That comic cover and everything like that, way before it was thought about, where they were just like, hey, come up with some random ideas and everything like that for some art. Just do something. Okay. You know, how he followed, you know, a corpse, and it was, you know, laid out to be, you know, Vader laid out on Mustafar. So he literally followed him everywhere until he eventually caught up with him on, you know, Tatooine and everything like that, to the point where, let's see, it was yeah, I do have a special place though, because I know what went into that, and I know the meanings that went behind Twin Sons. I kind of, as much as I love that Old Wounds, I love the meaning behind it, I love the artwork behind it, I love the person who did that. I got to meet him, got my son. It's amazing, cool dude. But Twin Sons, my God, there was so much meaning and so much behind that. During the Kenobi stream, it was brought up of the 3 hits and what they meant and what Sam Witwer, Dave Filoni wanted to do. And I think I'd have to go to that. I can elaborate more on that, but that's my answer for that. It's a special place in my heart.
Yeah, for a long time, I held out on watching the Clone Wars, and one of my reasons was because I loved the original comic animation story so much compared to what I thought they would do with it. And now that I've actually seen the Clone Wars and Rebels, I like that version better. But there's one thing that I still prefer from the original, is in the original version, it's like Obi-Wan is living with Luke and the Lars family, and then Darth Maul showing up and threatening them is like basically what scares them enough that they don't let Obi-Wan live with them anymore, because they think he like puts a target on them.
Yeah.
So that's why he goes out and lives in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I love that triggering effect as well for Kenobi or Old Ben at that time. As soon as you bring up Luke, you're toast.
Yeah.
It's very, oh God, like so much went into behind that. A lot of, some fans like, that's stupid, you know, 3 moves. What happened to dual effects? No. Stop and look. Let's see. I can't do Sam Witwer justice, but I do know the moves that Nick Gillard done for that and what they wanted to do for that, of why it was 3. I can give you the 3 things to that. 1, they do it in 3 moves. Okay, 1 before anything else. Poor Maul, right? He gets cut in half, and then he gets this. It's like an X down the spot, man. Come on, he can't catch the break when it comes to slice.
Yeah.
He's like a slice of salami. He's this poor guy. Poor, Dathomir. Anyways, the point being is that they wanted to make it 1 as soon as Maul pops up. Ridiculous Ezra. Good job. Follows the Sith holocrons and stuff like that. And at this point, Maul they're kind of laying it out subliminally that he kind of wants his life to end. He wants his pain to be over. Mm-hmm. And he knows his closure has to be where it all started, and it has to end with where it began. Kenobi, who's been at this point, but Maul doesn't know that. He just thinks of him as this war general, this Jedi, So they come up with this amazing device where they honor the old and then the modern and then what's to come. in such a symbolic way. Uh-oh.
We lost him.
I'll try and get him back. But that'll happen in a minute. But the point being is so when Maul comes rolling up, he goes, it worked. But anyways, when Maul comes rolling up, he's like, they actually mentioned old wounds in that. Stephen Stanton, the amazing person that he is, playing, old Ben at this point, I can finish this fight. I'll take care of him. No, I will mend this old wound. And as a fanboy of myself of that comic, I was like, oh, Dave Filoni, thank you so much. And they actually acknowledged that. So when you get to the point, I won't, again, make this long. Maul sees him. He sees him. This is the first time they've laid eyes on each other since dark saber moment and that. Sorry, Satine. Awkward. So you get to that, and they're looking each other in the eye, and look what has become of you, rat in the desert, and everything. Look what I've risen above. A little Easter egg of high ground there. And then to the point where he's wanting to taunt you. He's just like, I want to end this. I should have killed this guy years ago, and everything. But to the point where he can't see, he's like trying so hard to do Mach thing to get in his head, So he knocks out the fire. So, the second he figures out, hey, something's different. He's doing something here. The second he brings up Luke again, that's it. Obi-Wan, Form 2, Sarisu, hard feelings, as Sam Witwer says, which goes back to what many of us grew up on. We see, the General Grievous thing. He's in that pose. That's what he's used to. That's the general who fought in the war. That's the one who will, drop a dime, and fight, but then realize, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not this guy anymore. I'm Alec Guinness. Shicho, basic. But at the same time, I'm my master, Qui-Gon Jinn, Ataru. The Akira Kurosawa influenced Qui-Gon Jinn's the same stance that he used all those years ago. So when he does it and he cues it up, it's a mental game, much like a lot of stuff should be when it comes to Force stuff, not atrocities. But the point being is when it happens, he goes, doesn't realize it. So he's like, oh, okay, he's gonna try the Qui-Gon thing. His master, the dude I killed all those years ago. Yeah, okay. He hasn't learned much. So not knowing into this, when he goes and they're like, okay, let's come up with something. Why is it 3 moves? He goes 1, 2, 3. Satine, his master, and his former self, to symbolize the connection of Ben Kenobi. I'm Ben Kenobi. I'll do that to go back into Maul again, just like how he's held every member of his persons that he's fought with, he's everything, holds him in his arms. Just like everything, completely different person than how they both started, to the point where they get a actual, in another life we might have been the same, to the point where, is it the chosen one? Because going back to season 7, Sam Witwer knew some of this stuff was going to happen, this how and everything like that, because someone asked him, do you think Maul was redeemed? And he started to say something he couldn't, because he, way back in the day, he tried to warn Ahsoka, like, hey, this is about to happen. Guys, I'm giving you the gold. What are you doing? See, this is. So now it comes back to this, to the point where Maul goes, oh, this has something to do with the chosen one, doesn't it? Now remember, a lot of people get this mixed up. Ben Kenobi thinks Luke is that. He is not. The only reason, remember, Ben Kenobi has not seen the movies like we all have. He's not watching from that. But he can, after Mustafar, he can't do that. This is a Maul string, so I won't bring too long about that. But the thing that was always of that is him holding him like that, and them actually having this acknowledgement. These rivals that have gone across the stars with war, of this moment where they look at each other and go, you know, he will avenge us. And then they ask more about that. And they're like, what was that about? And like, well, was he referring to Savage? No. The chosen one, whoever he may be, will avenge us, aka the Jedi, aka what's left of Maul. They took everything from him. He had a horrible life. Both, arguably, Kenobi had he did have a rough life, but they both got robbed out of their thing by Sidious. However, the chosen one would avenge them both, bring balance, bring everything back, so it wasn't wasted for nothing. And when he, closes his eyes, he will everything. Goes and buries him. That's from another book, A Certain Point of View. Highly recommend it. However, if I may, I'm not going to steal this long. The move. But how are you on time?
You're good.
Sir? Okay.
You're good. This is awesome.
Okay, so the movement that they showed. If you guys can see, let me know. Okay.
Real martial artist here showing
No,
us.
quiet. Okay, so crap, can't see your feet. Okay, well, to the point where Maul opens up. Thank you. So Maul, when you do the Maul move from Phantom Menace, you go 1, 2, you push up off of the blade. That's what happened to Qui-Gon. You push up, his blade goes up like that, his elbow's up, push up, turn, stab, pull away. That's what happened to Qui-Gon. So immediately as soon as he sees Obi-Wan go, Qui-Gon Jinn, you cue up the feet. He goes, I see what you're doing. However, when Obi-Wan comes down, the 3 marks, Satine, Qui-Gon, he tries to do that, go look at the footage, himself, symbolizing cutting through the Kyber, going straight through. And that's the end of the saber staff, for now at least. But that was what they went over. So a whole lot goes into saber battles, especially, Ahsoka and, Maul, but that's a different time for a different story. Sorry, I had to get that. Much appreciated.
No, dude, that's awesome, and I love just how much attention to detail they put into that, because the more and more I hear people talk about it, I'm like, gosh, man, that is so good. It seriously is. I think it was a really poetic, a really cool way, and I was even thinking about, basically at the end you have Maul, the Sith assassin, who was like in the Phantom Menace, he was going to mow Anakin down, like ruthlessly kill him, like splatter him all over, and then he was going to kill the Jedi, all this. And then to see the way he is being held by the man who cut him in half, and that interchange, like, it's crazy.
True.
And earlier, when Deep Dive was talking about the comic, he sent me stuff, and I'm like, if I came prepared, I would have actually thought to show this, but I found it, and this will be the final notes.
Good. I love this art.
So let's take a
I
look
love
at this.
how they used that.
Let me see.
Even in Clone Wars, they were like, hey, there was an idea about these legs.
Mm-hmm. And so the comic is much longer. Spoilers, I'm sorry, but I'm sure that anybody that's here is well aware that there's going to be spoilers. But yeah, here you go. Can't execute. Can't. Well, it's not really pull the trigger, but
Yeah. I like how it flashes the 3 little moments as well on this one.
Mm-hmm.
You get Qui-Gon Jinn, you get, unfortunately, Padme, and then Anakin or Vader at that point, I hate you.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. Just almost a boom headshot moment. That's a deep reference.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all design and Kenobi's split hesitation shit, and as you said, Old Owen.
Yep. And then, yep,
Boom.
just bam.
So uncivilized.
And it's just maybe for those who haven't seen it, it's just such a different tale than what we see
Right?
in Rebels. It's so different. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because this is super cool, and that's why we say, here head canon is the best canon. So whatever floats your boat more, you can run with that. And I didn't actually know about this, and Deep Dive sent it. I'll put it here in the chat
Awesome.
as we close. There's actually an animated version of this that somebody made of Old Wounds. So this right here, I put it up. I know the screen's a little busy now with all the sharing and the banners and all that. But,
Almost clicked on this now, like, oh, take me there. But I was like, oh, don't do that.
But yeah, so that's something I actually haven't seen, so I'm excited to watch it. Pretty cool. I'm reading the description now. I had this laying around on my hard disk as a Shockwave Flash animation file for a while. Oh gosh,
it's an old video. I saw it when it was originally on YouTube, like a long time ago.
That's so cool.
But yeah,
they got the voice pretty good as well, if I remember right. For Maul, it was very kind of deep, but at the same time, I don't know, it was unique. It was very similar to what they used with Sam Witwer, what he went for. So good.
And I'll just throw this in the chat, just the tech nerd in me. Rest in peace, Flash. Back in the good old days, Flash. But yeah, I want to obviously, we had Aiden, we had some other people who were going to make it, and with work or the fact that people need sleep, and it's like 3 a.m. For some people, and we even had Blue earlier, but his phone was acting up. He messaged me. He's trying to get back on, and he couldn't. But nonetheless, the Mista says we need a part 2. We may do a part 2. Yeah, we may do it. There's a lot we didn't cover. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for that. I'm going to end the stream here. You guys can feel free to hang out for a second. But for everybody who watched, thanks for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. And may the Force be with you always.